Sam Walton, the small-town dreamer who built Walmart. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing and liking the video. It's the best way to support the channel and keep these videos coming. The camera opens on a quiet small town at sunrise. A pickup truck rolls down Main Street, past old brick storefronts and a single traffic light blinking red. At the edge of town, a huge blue and white sign rises out of the morning fog, Walmart. Shoppers push carts through automatic doors, hunting for low prices on everything from groceries to socks to televisions. For millions of people, this scene is ordinary. For Sam Walton, it was once only a dream. Samuel Moore Walton was born on March 29, 1918, in Kingfisher, Oklahoma, just as America was moving from the horse and buggy age into the age of cars and paved highways. His parents, Thomas and Nancy Walton, were hard-working people trying to stay afloat in a tough rural economy. The 1920s brought both hope and struggle. By the time Sam was a boy, the Great Depression had hit, and his family, like many others, had to move often, searching for better opportunities. They left Oklahoma and resettled in Missouri, living in small towns where the soil was hard, money was scarce, and everyone had to pitch in. Sam's childhood was not glamorous, but it was full of lessons. From an early age, he was expected to work. He milked the family's cow, bottled the milk, and delivered it to customers in their town. He raised rabbits and sold them. He delivered newspapers, sometimes walking long distances in bad weather to make sure his customers got their papers on time. These small jobs taught him something important: if you served people well and charged a fair price, they would come back. He began to see that business was, at its heart, a relationship between people. In school, Sam was a bright and energetic student. He played football, basketball, and baseball, even though he wasn't the biggest or strongest boy on the field. He made up for that with determination, hustle, and a natural leadership style that made teammates trust him. He joined the Boy Scouts and became an Eagle Scout, a sign of both discipline and commitment. When he was elected class president, it confirmed something others already sensed: Sam had a quiet ability to pull people together and get things done. His family did not have much, but they valued education. After graduating from high school in Columbia, Missouri, Sam went on to the University of Missouri. There he studied economics and joined campus organizations, including a business club and ROTC, the Reserve Officers Training Corps. To pay for his expenses, he continued working wherever he could, waiting tables, managing small tasks, always looking for ways to learn more about people and money. In college, he discovered a love for retailing. He took a part-time job in a JCPenney store, where he watched carefully how the manager treated employees and customers. He noticed how important it was to keep shelves stocked, to greet shoppers with respect, and to run the store with discipline and energy. The world of retail appealed to him because it combined numbers and human connections. He liked the idea that if you bought goods wisely and sold them fairly, you could create value for both yourself and your customers. After graduating in 1940, the world changed quickly. War loomed overseas, and the United States would soon be drawn in. Sam first took a job with JCPenney in Iowa, but his life shifted when he joined the U.S. Army during World War II. He served as an officer in military intelligence, gaining experience in planning, logistics, and leadership, skills that would later become crucial in running a large company. When the war ended, Sam returned to civilian life with a sense of urgency. He was eager to build something of his own. In 1945, using $5,000 he had saved and a $20,000 loan from his father-in-law, Sam bought a Ben Franklin variety store franchise in Newport, Arkansas. He was in his late 20s, newly married to his wife, Helen Robson, and full of ideas. The store was not large, but to him it was a canvas. He experimented with everything he had learned: wider aisles, brighter lights, friendly greetings, and most importantly, lower prices. At the time, most small-town merchants followed a simple rule: mark up goods as much as the market would bear. Sam thought differently. He believed that if he could sell more items at a lower price, he could still make a good profit and give customers a better deal. He cut prices wherever he could, negotiated hard with suppliers, and accepted thinner margins. The result was dramatic. People drove from surrounding towns to shop at his store. On weekends, the aisles were crowded. Sales soared. Sam didn't just lower prices, he listened. He talked with customers, asking what they needed and what they couldn't find elsewhere. He paid attention to what moved quickly and what sat on the shelves. He gave employees responsibility and encouraged them to share their ideas. Over time, the Newport Ben Franklin became one of the most successful stores in the region. But success brought a painful shock. After 5 years, Sam's landlord declined to renew his lease. The building, and the improved business Sam had built inside it, would go to someone else. It was a harsh lesson in the realities of business. Despite all of his hard work, he had no control over the location. Instead of collapsing, he treated the setback as a turning point. He packed up his young family and went searching for a new opportunity. They found it in Bentonville, Arkansas, a small town near the Ozark Mountains. In 1950, Sam opened a new Ben Franklin store on the town square. He decided that this time, he wanted a long-term lease and more control over the building. In Bentonville, he refined his methods even further. He tracked sales in detail, made regular trips to competing stores to study their prices and displays, and kept experimenting with new ideas. He and Helen also opened a second store in nearby Fayetteville. In these years, the seeds of Walmart were slowly taking root. Sam became convinced that shoppers in small towns deserved the same bargains people in big cities enjoyed. Most discount chains ignored rural areas, believing there wasn't enough population to justify big stores with low prices. Sam saw the gap as an opportunity. If he could build larger stores in smaller communities, stock them with a wide range of goods, and keep prices relentlessly low, he could attract customers from miles around. The idea went against the common wisdom of the time. Banks and suppliers were skeptical. But Sam believed in what he called volume over margin, selling more items at a smaller profit per item. He also believed in driving costs down by managing logistics more efficiently, buying in bulk, and keeping overhead low. In 1962, he made his boldest move. In Rogers, Arkansas, just a short drive from Bentonville, Sam Walton opened the first Walmart Discount City. The store was larger than his earlier variety shops and focused on discount merchandise, clothing, housewares, hardware, and more. The sign outside was simple: Walmart, separated by a star, but inside, Sam's philosophy was clear: pile the merchandise high, keep the aisles busy, and always push prices as low as possible. The early days were tough. The store did not instantly become a runaway success. Sam and his team had to learn how to manage more inventory, negotiate better deals, and promote their low-price concept to skeptical shoppers. But little by little, the formula started working. People realized they could buy more for less. They started planning their trips around Walmart visits, stocking up on items at prices they couldn't find elsewhere. Sam's personality shaped the culture of the stores. He was not the kind of owner who stayed in an office all day. He walked the aisles, talked to associates, and greeted customers. He drove his old pickup truck from town to town, visiting different locations, always looking for ways to improve. He insisted on cheering, friendly greetings, and a sense of team spirit. He believed that associates, what other companies would call employees, were partners in the business, not just workers. As the 1960s progressed, Walmart expanded to more towns in Arkansas and nearby states. Sam chose locations carefully, often in rural areas where large discount stores were rare. He tried to build clusters of stores around a central warehouse, reducing transportation costs and allowing frequent deliveries. This regional, hub-and-spoke strategy helped keep shelves stocked while keeping prices low. By the end of the decade, Walmart had dozens of stores across the region. What had begun as a single experiment in Rogers was becoming a recognizable chain. The brand stood for something simple but powerful: everyday low prices. Sam Walton believed that customers should not have to chase temporary sales or special deals. They should be able to walk into the store any day and know that most items were priced as low as he could make them. The growth brought new challenges. Competitors noticed Walmart's rise. Some dismissed it as a regional player, others began to feel its impact as shoppers shifted their spending. Sam responded the only way he knew how: by working harder, traveling more, and paying even closer attention to details. He flew around in small planes to visit far-flung stores quickly, sometimes packing several town visits into a single day. He kept a notebook, scribbling ideas and observations. In 1970, Walmart took another major step by going public. Selling shares on the stock market provided capital to build new stores and distribution centers. Many early associates became shareholders, giving them a financial stake in the company's success. The move also brought new scrutiny, as investors began watching Walmart's growth and profitability closely. Yet even as the numbers grew, Sam tried to keep the company's culture grounded. He remained famously frugal. Stories spread of him driving an old pickup instead of a luxury car, staying in budget motels on business trips, and carefully studying receipts. He lived not in a fancy mansion in a distant city, but in Bentonville, close to the original heart of the business. He wanted associates to see that the man at the top followed the same rules he preached: control costs, respect customers, and never act too big for your boots. By the mid-1970s, Walmart had expanded across several southern states. The stores were still simple: concrete floors, fluorescent lights, practical shelving, but they were busy. Shoppers liked the combination of low prices and straightforward shopping. Sam, now a well-known figure in retail circles, continued to search for improvements. He studied barcoding and computerized inventory systems. He watched competitors closely, often walking through rival stores with a small tape recorder or notepad, dictating his observations. He also invested heavily in distribution. Instead of relying solely on suppliers to deliver goods, Walmart built its own warehouses and trucking fleets. This allowed the company to move products quickly from distribution centers to stores, reducing stockouts and cutting costs. Over time, these logistics skills would become one of Walmart's greatest advantages. By the end of the 1970s, the stage was set. Walmart was moving from a regional discount chain to a rising national force. Sam Walton, the boy who once delivered milk and newspapers during the Depression, now led a fast-growing company that was rewriting the rules of retail. But the most dramatic chapters of his story, the explosive expansion of the 1980s, the controversies, the honors, and his final years, were still to come. As the 1980s began, Walmart was no longer just a promising regional chain. It was a retail force gathering momentum. The company expanded rapidly across the South and Midwest, entering new states with a consistent formula: build large discount stores in towns often overlooked by major competitors, stock them with a wide range of merchandise, price everything as low as possible, and keep operations lean. Sam Walton's focus on efficiency and volume drove Walmart's rise during this decade, transforming the company from a growing player into a national powerhouse. The expansion was not just about opening more stores. It involved building an infrastructure that could support tens of thousands of items across hundreds of locations. Walmart invested heavily in distribution centers equipped with advanced technology for the time: computerized inventory tracking, cross-docking systems that moved goods quickly from trucks to store shelves, and a company-owned trucking fleet designed to keep merchandise flowing at high speed. Sam understood that saving a few cents on logistics could mean charging customers less, and that made all the difference. He was a master at pushing for innovation while keeping his team grounded in everyday realities. He encouraged employees to do retail math, a simple but powerful concept: measure everything, track every penny, and understand that small improvements multiplied across stores could generate huge savings. He stressed that Walmart had no secret formula beyond hard work, smart buying, and putting customers first. But behind that humility was a sophisticated system of data tracking, supplier negotiation, and operational discipline that few competitors could match. Sam Walton's leadership style remained as hands-on as ever. He was famous for visiting stores unannounced, walking the aisles, speaking with associates, and checking prices personally. He would crouch beside shelves to see whether the labels lined up, whether the displays were neat, and whether customers looked satisfied. He celebrated successes loudly and questioned failures sharply, but he always made people feel they were part of a team on a shared mission. His energy was infectious. Even in his 60s, he was known to jump on the store intercom and cheer on associates or wander into the stockroom to help unload boxes. His management philosophy was built on humility and recognition. He believed that the best ideas often came from the sales floor, not the executive suite. He encouraged managers to share ideas across stores and rewarded teams that developed creative solutions. He kept the culture informal, asking associates to call him Sam instead of Mr. Walton, and he continued to drive his old pickup truck, reinforcing the message that frugality was a core Walmart value. His famous line, repeated often, was simple: control your costs better than your competition. That's where advantage lies. Despite the company's rapid growth, Sam Walton remained deeply loyal to small towns. He believed rural communities were underserved by retailers who focused on big cities. Walmart's strategy of building stores in places with populations under 25,000 seemed risky to many analysts, but Sam trusted his instincts. He understood the habits of small-town shoppers because he had grown up among them. He knew they would drive miles for good prices and appreciated courteous service. As Walmart expanded into new regions, that insight proved incredibly valuable. By the mid-1980s, Walmart had spread across multiple states and was climbing the ranks of America's largest retailers. Financial markets took notice. Business magazines featured Sam Walton as an unconventional success story, a man from a modest background who built a retail empire by going against the conventional wisdom. Yet despite the growing attention, Sam himself remained wary of media hype. He saw himself as a merchant, not a celebrity. He preferred spending time in stores rather than in interviews or boardrooms. Walmart's success also attracted criticism. Some local merchants claimed that the arrival of a Walmart store harmed small businesses in town. Economists debated the impact of large discount retailers on rural economies. Sam listened to these concerns, but he believed that customers deserved the best value possible. He often said that if Walmart didn't offer low prices, someone else would, and consumers would benefit either way. His philosophy was that competition was healthy, and communities ultimately decided which businesses survived based on where they chose to shop. As Walmart moved into new territories, Sam continued to push the company forward with restless energy. He traveled constantly, sometimes visiting a dozen stores in a single day. He spoke with employees and managers, asking what they needed and what problems they faced. He maintained a notepad filled with observations and ideas. He believed that innovation happened at the edges of the business, where associates dealt with real customer needs. His job, he felt, was to gather their insights and scale them across the company. By 1985, Sam Walton was recognized as the wealthiest man in America. The ranking surprised him. He famously joked that he felt embarrassed by the title, insisting that most of his money was tied up in Walmart stock and that he lived no differently than he had before. His modest lifestyle became part of his legend, a billionaire who still drove an old truck, wore inexpensive clothes, and shopped in his own stores. That same year, President Ronald Reagan presented him with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States. The award recognized Sam's contributions to American retail and the broader economy. Yet even as he shook hands with the president, Sam insisted that the honor belonged not to him alone but to the entire Walmart team. The 1980s also brought a new kind of store that would further transform Walmart's business, the supercenter. Combining a traditional Walmart discount store with a full grocery market, the supercenter concept allowed customers to buy everything they needed in one place: food, clothing, electronics, household goods, and more. The first Walmart supercenter opened in 1988 in Washington state, and it signaled a powerful shift in the company's strategy. Sam recognized that groceries drove frequent traffic, and if Walmart could offer low prices on both food and general merchandise, the stores would become the primary shopping destination for millions of families. This new model would eventually make Walmart the largest grocery retailer in the United States. But in the late 1980s, it was still an experiment, one that Sam believed would work because it aligned with his fundamental principle: making customers' lives easier and more affordable. Throughout this period of expansion, Sam Walton remained deeply committed to Walmart's internal culture. He believed in recognizing and rewarding associates, celebrating achievements, and fostering a sense of belonging. One of his most famous traditions was the Walmart cheer, a high-energy chant performed at meetings and store gatherings. To outsiders, it sometimes looked silly, but to Sam, it represented unity, enthusiasm, and the belief that every associate mattered. He believed that attitude was as important as strategy. In 1989, as Walmart approached its 1,400th store, Sam's health began to decline. He was diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer, and though he continued working, the illness gradually weakened him. Still, he remained active and engaged, visiting stores whenever possible and staying involved in high-level decisions. He spoke often about the future and emphasized that Walmart's success depended on staying true to its values, serving customers, controlling costs, and working as a team. In the early 1990s, Walmart surpassed competitors to become the largest retailer in the United States. For Sam Walton, this achievement was not a moment of arrogance but a moment of reflection. He saw Walmart's success as proof that ordinary people, working together with discipline and purpose, could accomplish extraordinary things. He emphasized continually that the credit for Walmart's rise belonged to the associates who stocked shelves, greeted customers, operated registers, and worked long hours to keep stores running smoothly. In his final year, Sam received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in a ceremony attended by his family and Walmart executives. Standing beside him, President George H.W. Bush praised his leadership and vision. Sam, weakened by illness but still sharp, delivered a heartfelt message: "If we work together, we'll give the world an opportunity to see what we can do." On April 5, 1992, Sam Walton passed away in Little Rock, Arkansas. He was 74 years old. His death marked the end of an era, but his influence lived on in the company he built, the associates he inspired, and the millions of customers whose lives he touched through affordability and convenience. After Sam's passing, Walmart continued to expand, becoming a global retailer with stores across multiple continents. The principles Sam instilled, low prices, efficient logistics, associate involvement, and community focus, remained central to Walmart's identity. Even as the company entered new markets, adopted new technologies, and faced new challenges, it continued to follow the path he laid out. Sam Walton's legacy is both simple and profound. He proved that a business built on serving customers, respecting employees, and embracing innovation could change the landscape of retail. He believed in the power of small towns, the importance of hard work, and the value of listening to the people closest to the customer. His life demonstrated that massive success can emerge from humble beginnings and that leadership is most effective when grounded in humility and integrity. Today, Walmart stands not just as a chain of stores, but as a testament to Sam Walton's vision and perseverance. The man who delivered milk as a boy, who borrowed money to buy his first store, and who built an empire with a pickup truck and a relentless belief in value, left behind a legacy that continues to shape the world of retail and the lives of millions. His story remains a powerful reminder that ambition, innovation, and genuine care for people can transform not just a company, but entire communities and industries.